There you go.
Yeah. Okay. 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 My name is Jeff Rubidge. I'm very glad to be here, and I'm going to be talking a lot about myself today. So I hope so. Bear with me. This is a case study based on myself. Why do I brew makgeolli? So who am I? What have I brewed? And the important questions that I think more people will be interested in are, why did I start brewing makgeolli? What resources did I need? And why do I continue to brew makgeolli? So my goal for today is that I will share my makgeolli journey with you to generate discussion on how to promote Suul. So that's my goal. And yeah, so I'll start off with, who am I? And for the purpose of this conference, the most important thing is that for the past 6 years, I have brewed rustic Asian rice wine as a hobby. I am a brewing hobbyist. I've brewed more than 150 batches, and the goal of my brewing is not commercial, it's hobby style, but the goal of my brewing is to enjoy what I brew and to share with friends. So very simple. That's a hobbyist kind of goal. And I have a YouTube channel, as Sanu kindly mentioned. I publish a video every week, and there's more than 300 videos so far over the past 6 years. And the goal of my channel is that I want my viewers to enjoy drinking rice wine and to brew their own. So I really want to encourage people to get into this kind of traditional alcohol and to brew it themselves if they can. And I just want to mention that I have no family connection to Korea. I'm doing this, you might, that's to pique your curiosity. How did I get into it? I don't really have a connection to Korea. Why am I doing this? So
I'm your brother, Jeff.
Yeah, well now, but back then I didn't know. So, okay, this is the thumbnail of my first makgeolli brew and my first makgeolli video. So what have I brewed over the years? So I just want to establish some credibility that I have brewed a few things. These are just thumbnails from my videos. I've tried quite a few brewing methods. I do like experimenting with things, and I've been able to try quite a few different recipes. Pretty much everything I can find, I like to experiment with. So I experiment with different brewing methods and also different additions, such as fruit. Fruit is a popular thing for the consumers of makgeolli, and I've tried different flavored makgeolli recipes as well. Lots of herbs, flowers, produce very interesting flavors when it's brewed over a period of time. A lot of yeah. So I find all of these things fascinating. Once again, this is just to give an idea of what I have brewed. And I have also experimented with alternate starches, ups and downs. Some things work, some things did not work for me. I've tried a few things, and I have made my own nuru several times. And this is probably the most risky thing that I did, that I was most unsure about this, but I was able to do it, and that really taught me something about the process of Korean traditional alcohol. And I like talking about makgeolli. So a good portion of my YouTube channel is just me talking to myself about makgeolli. And also drinking makgeolli. I do consume some commercial makgeolli. I review it on my channel. So this is all just to give you an idea of who I am and what I have brewed. But the crucial question is, why did I start brewing makgeolli? So how did this come about? So I think that's an interesting question. And when I thought about it, yeah. So I tried to break it down into the simplest pieces. What was my initial motivation? Why I wanted to brew makgeolli in the first place? So there were the three very basic, simple things that were necessary. I had to be aware that I had to be aware of makgeolli. I had to be curious about it, and then I had to have some necessity for making it myself. So the awareness was that, you know, I went on vacation in Seoul. I read a guidebook to prepare, and I find out that makgeolli exists. Okay, so I know it exists. Okay, that's great. But I actually want it. I search for it, I drink it, and I enjoy it. So that's just commercial makgeolli. I'm a tourist. Something I want to do. Okay, so but what's the necessity? Well, I returned home, and where I live, I can't buy makgeolli. If I want it, I'm going to have to make it myself. So that's the spark that I had. If I wanted this thing, which I wanted, I would have to make it myself. So that's the, you know, the simple basic reason why I had this, why I was motivated. So I want to brew makgeolli myself now. Okay, but I can't just do it out of nowhere. I need resources, certain resources, and they're the obvious things. I need some knowledge, I need some equipment, I need some ingredients. And I want to especially give credit for the people that provided the information I was able to find on the internet. Could I find a recipe on the internet? Well, it turned out I could. There were quite a few sources. It took me a little while to find, but I want to call out these resources and these people in particular. First of all, a primer on brewing makgeolli. One of the authors, Becca Baldwin, and Julia Meller's blog, which evolved into the Suul company. That was a great source of information. And Brian Romansky's blog, another blog called Makgeolli Lab, and even Manchi, famous Manchi on YouTube. All of these things put together gave me the confidence and the initial information that in English that I could get started. So I really want to give a lot of credit and appreciation to these people who shared what they knew freely, and that kind of that sharing that information made it possible, and also the encouragement that it was possible for someone that wasn't Korean to make a Korean alcohol. Well, that was an important thing. So I needed that knowledge, and by using those resources, realized I have almost everything I need in the kitchen already. I needed to buy a fermentation jar and some cheesecloth, but really I had everything else. And in terms of ingredients, relatively easy to find the rice, a little more difficult to find the nuruk, but it's a pretty low barrier to entry, especially compared with beer. It's fewer things that you need. So that helped me out, got me going. And yeah, I want to point out this is a selfie I took 6 years ago with a package of nuruk, the first package of nuruk that I ever saw and bought. I took a selfie with it. I was so pleased with myself. I don't know why I thought this was looking back, why did I think this was doable for me? But it was. So I guess I knew deep down that this was important to me, and but I didn't know it was going to last for this long. Okay, which is the next and probably the most important question. Why do I continue to brew makgeolli? So I could have just done it once or twice and then forgotten about it, but why do I continue to do it over this period of time so many times, and that I want to share it with other people, right? So I've tried to enumerate some characteristics of Makgeolli that are most important to me in answering the question why I continue brewing Makgeolli. So these are the characteristics. I'll go over them one at a time. They're probably these characteristics, you're all aware of them. I just want to point them out as why they're important to me for making me continue to brew. So let's start with the first one, fresh. You know, just the fact that drinking Makgeolli feels nutritious and healthy. I enjoy the fresh and vibrant flavor. Okay, you know, that's got to be that's a motivation right there. But not only that, because it's handmade, this is a very physical handmade product. It involves all 5 senses. You have to pay attention to the aroma and the taste, of course, but also the texture, and you're observing it all the time and listening to the bubbling. So it involves all your senses, and it's unique to you. That's part of craftsmanship. It's a satisfying thing. You have pride of craftsmanship because you made it yourself and you value what you make. So that's, for me, I think that's very important. It's something special in my life that I get to make myself. And the recipe is robust. It's a reliable recipe. It's not fussy, and it doesn't require perfect ingredients or perfect technique or perfect conditions. Of course, you might want everything to be perfect, but you know, just to be practical, these recipes had to work in a variety of circumstances and had to adapt to what was available. So the fact that the longevity and of these recipes attest to their robustness. They've lasted a long time, and they've proven themselves, and right now when I use these recipes, I feel better because I know it's not so sensitive. I'm going to get some product in the end. I might learn something by doing something differently, or the environment is slightly different. I'm going to learn something, but I'm going to get something good in the end. And very important characteristic of Makgeolli is that I can complete a fermentation in a week or two, or even if I do some long fermentation, 3 or 4 weeks. You know, it's a rapid cycle of brewing and learning. That cycle, that feedback cycle, lets me really experiment and learn. So that has really that's a very attractive characteristic. It means that I'm not spending my whole life waiting for something to mature so I can find out how it tastes. I'm going to drink this fresh and learn something that is going to inform the next thing that I brew. And as we know, we only need 3 ingredients: basic equipment, low barrier to entry. This simplicity is a great characteristic. It's very appealing, but just the fact that it's simple, it's also deep. There are many recipes, many techniques, and you can get many flavors out of even just with rice, as previous presenters have mentioned. Variations in rice and ratios and temperature, that's all going to affect the flavors. So there's really never-ending variation, and there's always more to learn. So that's something I find very attractive about brewing Makgeolli. it didn't take long for me to realize that Makgeolli has a cultural weight to it. It's a serious tradition, and it feels good to be part of something that's meaningful. These fermentation methods are part of the heritage of humanity. This is something that humanity has done in order to survive. It is meaningful, so that it feels good to be part of that. And there's something magical about fermentation, even knowing scientifically what's going on. Just, I know the words, right? There's simultaneous saccharification and fermentation. I know that, but the number of variables involved and the fact that there's organisms doing part of the work here, the actual process is complex and mysterious in the end. From the viewpoint of just me looking at the jar, it's mysterious. So that kind of magic, it's more than just it's more than just a collection of ingredients. It is alive. And the last characteristic that I want to mention here is the cooperative aspect. Brewing, I'm collaborating with microbes to have a successful brew. So that's some kind of cooperation. And I collaborate with fellow brewers in the brewing community. That's something I really enjoy. I started off without knowing any other brewers. I didn't know anyone else that brewed Makgeolli, but just want to mention this, this social aspect of brewing is very, very important. These are other thumbnails from my YouTube channel of various meetups of when I met other brewers and people I admired in the brewing community. I'd have them on my channel. So that's the social aspect of brewing. That's another thing that really carries things through and meant that I want to continue to do this up until now and into the future. So there's just so many reasons to brew Makgeolli. That is my point. And so I hope this generates some discussion on how to promote Suul. And I have links here for the resources that I mentioned that I want to give credit to for setting me on the right path here. The best thing from my YouTube channel, the best thing that I hear from my viewers, what I most enjoy hearing is that they brewed something themselves. Right? That gives me the most satisfaction, that I inspire someone else to brew some Makgeolli, and that's if I could ask anyone that's listening, if you have any ideas of what I should do to encourage more people to get into brewing and enjoying Makgeolli, please just email me, contact me on YouTube comments or whatever. I will really appreciate it. So that I'm very open to feedback and suggestions. This is my hobby, but there's so many things I can experiment with, and I do want feedback and suggestions from the brewing community. So that'll be it for today. Thank you for listening.
Jeff, thank you. I hope our government sponsors are listening to you. They should be sending you a Medal of Honor from the government. That's what we're all trying to do, and you're doing this on your own. So thank you so much.